Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me make that darker. Here, tell them about the Longhorns while I fix your light. We're back.
What's
Rudy's
up?
too black again.
I'm too black, man. I don't know what is happening. I think you got to close them, actually.
No, I put a curtain over the window to try to help with this,
okay.
and maybe
There
it was
we go.
maybe it's backfire. Let me know.
Keep going.
All right, keep going.
Keep going.
All right,
Keep
okay.
going. Keep going.
Nobody say anything racist. You're gonna get. I'm gonna ban y'all for
No,
life.
you don't-
There we
yeah,
go.
they can't.
How's that? Is that fine?
As long as they
Let me
donate.
turn on. Hang on. Here, say, talk about. Let me turn this. Try the overhead light. Hang on.
There's only 3 people up in here right now. Anyway, there we go. That's better. That'll work. That'll work. Elvis is in here now too, so we're good.
We got Elvis. All right. Sorry. Look here. So we're makeshift today. We're not in our normal studio because
For now.
for now we'll be on there later. So what's up? There we go. That looks pretty good.
That's better.
All right, that's fine. How you doing? It's like we're in like some remote Afghanistanian tent, but here we are. I guess I should have brought the ring light over, but I didn't use it last time we did the show here, did I?
No.
So what the hell's the difference today? Maybe it's just this curtain. I put a
Yeah.
curtain up over that window, so
It's all good.
that's all right. Look at that. We're back. It is the Longhorns postgame show presented by Orlando Kill. All apologies, man. It's my bad. I was out of town on kind of vacation.
But
Kind
it
of
was
a
business though too.
There was some business. Yeah, I was helping. So Nina's an executive assistant to a guy that owns a land investment company, and she's their assistant. So then they put on these. It's an amazing story. I don't want to. I'm just trying to make an excuse why we're on late a day later, but. Bunch of land investors and a bunch of property owners, and Nina's an assistant to two of the partners in the company.
Okay.
And they let me go, and it was great. So I'm like, I'm not going to turn down an opportunity to just go hang out. So I got to be a fly on the wall all week to a bunch of very successful land owners and business owners, and I got a cattle rancher that was out there. And had a good time and was a fly on the wall. And it was really cool for me because I was able to sit there and listen to really successful people talk about their businesses and interact with each other. And it was really cool because these are a bunch of bosses and they're used to calling the shots all day.
Right.
They're old Heffing. They wear the crown, and the crown can get heavy when you're an owner, when you're the boss, and you're not used to folks telling you what to do. You're not used to someone delegating things to you. So this is what they call like a mastermind get together, where all these guys that do the same thing kind of got together. They're all owners and they all have tons of properties and investments. And so it's an opportunity for them to kind of like, talk about their successes,
off each other.
talk about their failures. And they grill the hell out of the guy. Everybody goes up one by one. This is my company. This is what we've done. This is all my properties. This is what I'm working on right now. This is what's gone good. This is what's not gone good. And then the rest of the group will like grill them. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you think about this? You should consider that. And it's good because like these are owners. These are bosses. And they're in a room full of other roosters.
Right.
And it was really, really interesting. So I was the assistant to the assistant. I was Nina's assistant as she assists those guys. And so that's what I got to do. And
we'll definitely get into more of that on In the Building.
We certainly will. So I was traveling all day yesterday, man, and I got in late. And as soon as we got home, I went straight to bed. I went to bed at 8:30 yesterday and slept till 5:30 this morning.
Damn.
So I was just so tired because the night before we had a 4 a.m. wake up call, and because our flight was at 7 to come back home, I had a connection in Houston with a 3-hour layover. So I got to bed about 11 on Friday night, knowing I had to get up at 4.
Right.
That would have been fine. But the AC went out in our hotel room, which they're going to compensate Nina's company for it. And I just didn't sleep at all. It was hot. At one point, man, I opened up the door to the room leading out into the lobby, and I just put a chair there. But then that creeped me out. I couldn't sleep knowing I had the door open. It probably would have been fine, but it wasn't letting enough cool air in anyway. Then I went and opened up the balcony, but the problem was there's bars down below, and it's music, people going ape shit, and blah blah blah. So didn't sleep at all, and so it was a long travel day. That is a terrible excuse, and I'm sorry. We didn't talk Longhorns yesterday, but here we are talking Longhorns today, presented by the law office of Orlando Kell, 210-775-4995. You can email him if you need a family lawyer. And a lot of people will. 50% of the married population of this country is going to get a divorce. There was a time in this country where getting a divorce was taboo. no matter what your husband did.
Right.
Or your wife. You just didn't get divorced. It was rare. And people put up with a lot of bullshit back in the day because you weren't supposed to get divorced. Now, though, most people that get married probably shouldn't anyway, which is probably one of the reasons why 50% of married people wind up getting divorced in this country. So if that's you and you find yourself in need of a lawyer, our guy is Orlando Kell. You can email him directly or directly at orlandokilllaw@gmail.com. All right, so the Longhorns do win.
Mm-hmm.
That make me look better. Dude, I failed today. I'm so sorry. I
good.
totally failed our. Let me see. Let me do this. I hope LG does not watch.
No, he is right now.
I'm going to get annihilated. That's okay. You know what? This will be the last time we have a setup like this. Guaranteed.
That's all good.
Guaranteed. Anyway, so, what's that? Oh, okay. All right. Fix the camera. Look, Rudy's going to wipe it off. That's Rudy's shirt. Oh, I see Rudy's belly. That helped a lot. Huh. It doesn't seem like a lens on a camera would get dirty to the point where you could see the dirt, but I guess it does. Yeah. Oh, my God, dude, you do look a lot better.
There we go.
It was simply wiping the hole.
Yeah, it's just,
you got to wipe your hole properly. It stays dirty.
Got to clean the hole, dog.
God.
You need a bidet.
I'm so sorry, Orlando. We normally do a hell of a lot better job.
Now we're good.
We're good. We can start. All right. It is the Longhorn post game. Welcome in here if you're watching it. This is the risk in doing live shows. I'm not going to go back and edit the first part, but it is what it is. Thank y'all very much. Thank you. I will be fine. We'll be in DJLG Studios here at about an hour or so because we do have it in the building on Love You Hard TV. But this is the Longhorn postgame show presented by Orlando Kell, and the Longhorns go up to Vandy and get down 7-0 on a Quinn Ewers interception that got tipped, and it's like, oh shit,
here we go.
Because Vandy's solid. This is a Vanderbilt team that beat Alabama this year. This is a Vanderbilt team that had won, 3 games in a row going into this game, as I recall. A good team, a Vanderbilt team that's going to go to a damn bowl.
A lot of money in the portal.
Yeah, they've got money, and it just goes to show you that it don't matter who you are. If you got money, I got the time.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt, bring it if you got the money.
Right, that's the thing with the portal and with NIL. While, yes, there's some schools that just don't have enough money, a la UTSA. But if you have some money, you can go and buy yourself some players, and I think that's what Vanderbilt did.
Yeah, Baltimore Roadrunners. So Vanderbilt's a good team. So I wanted to see what you thought about what went down, because I tend to get a little excited and get a little homer and rah-rah. I admit that on occasion.
True. Yeah.
And then you have a good, I think one of the compliments you and I have is that you kind of bring me down when I get a little too far ahead.
That sounds messed up.
If I get drawn off sides, you're good at hey man, let's watch the false starts. The snap was on red and you snapped on green. Right. So I wanted to get your take. Do you see this as still an elite Texas team coming off a very difficult loss to Georgia, simply playing on the road in the SEC against a really good Vanderbilt team that's clearly better than they've been in 15 years? Or do you see a Longhorn team that is still finding its way and not peaking?
No, I think they're finding their way, and it's also life in the SEC. Sometimes you're going to run up on 2-3 weeks where you play one really elite team like they did in Georgia, and then you play a good, solid, confident football team the very next week. I mean, just look what they did, speaking of Vanderbilt, to Alabama the week after Alabama played Georgia. It's just life in the SEC. So, no, I still feel like Texas is a top 5 team in the country. I do feel like Sark opened a can of worms, and he's caused in-house fighting amongst the Longhorn Nation with this Quinn and Arch thing by putting Arch in that game in Georgia, because now people are just out on Quinn. Like, I saw it all day yesterday. Like, oh, he sucks. He sucks. I'm like, dude, he's completed 10 passes in a row. Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're
like,
giving him shit early.
Shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, so now it's like, it doesn't matter what he does. Half of the fan base is ready for Arch Manning. And I don't think that's going to change. I mean, he had 3 TDs yesterday, 2 INTs. At times looked great. At times look pedestrian because he just refuses to. I don't know what happened with Quinn and pulling the trigger, but he's holding on to the ball a lot longer than he used to. And this offense is set up for the ball to come out quick. So when it doesn't, it shows. And Sark's over there in his feelings like, get rid of the gosh darn ball. So I don't know. I think I think Quinn he's not shook and he's not confident, but there's sometimes where he thinks way too long. I'm like, dude, step up in the pocket. The pocket presence just isn't there sometimes when the bang, bang ball come out right away isn't there. Yeah. And that's where Arch comes in. Arch play breaks down with Arch. Arch takes off for 60 yards. Quinn just doesn't have that ability. Arch has pocket presence. Step up in the pocket, then maybe somebody comes free when it's all, free for all. But sometimes Quinn's pocket presence, I'm just like, dude, you got 3 seconds in the SEC. 1001, 1002, 1003. The ball's got to be gone or you got to be gone. And he's not doing that the past couple of weeks.
And it's an issue,
Yes. Is it an issue?
It's an issue for him because you're going to have to figure out how to run for yards in the playoffs. And Quinn's not a runner, and that's going to be an issue when he gets to the NFL too, man. You got to be able to scoot. That's the thing that Arch is clearly better than he is at this point. Not anything else at this point. Just because of the experience fact. Quinn's an elite passer. Quinn is an elite drop back robot passer. But when the pocket breaks down, like you said, he can't just take off and run for 40. He's got to find the right throw. And like you said, that maybe he's waiting a little bit too long because running for him is not really an option.
No.
It's like, let me check. Oh, shit, my route got covered. Let me check over here. Let me check here. Let me check there. Running's not really an option. So he's got to find the right choice in the passing game. But like you said, you don't have time to check off 4 times in the SEC. It's 1 potato, 2 potato, go. That's it. Sometimes you don't even get to 2 potatoes, and that's just kind of the way it is. Not saying he should get benched.
No.
And Sark raved about him in the postgame, and raved about the team in the postgame. Sark would tell you that you're going to have to win ugly in the SEC. He called it a tough performance and a gut check. Sark called it a culture victory and a toughness victory. After the gut-wrenching loss the previous week to Georgia, going on the road. By the way, that's their first road win in the SEC. Granted, they haven't played a lot. It doesn't help that they commit 10 damn penalties in the game for up over 100 yards.
Yeah.
They had some self-inflicted wounds, all on both sides in a lot of different categories. It was in some ways ugly, but to put a bow on the point you just made, that's life in the league, man. You're going to win ugly.
And I like the way they looked once Vanderbilt had cut the lead down and they were within a score.
Yeah.
And they, Texas went right back down, put some points up to kind of put it out of reach, go up 10 and put it out of reach. So again, you come off a tough loss. I wanted to see how Quinn would respond, and he responded well. Yes, he had some mistakes. He's going to continue to make mistakes. Every quarterback in the country is making mistakes. As Will said in the chat, I don't know if we have a true dominant team this year in all of college. I mean, I like Ohio State. I like Oregon, but, who have they played? I mean, I know Indiana. I wouldn't want to play Indiana right now.
No, I wouldn't either.
I know they play Ohio State in a couple of weeks. That should be a good game. Hopefully, they're still both undefeated. But just somebody that I can look at and say, nobody's beating them. I don't see that team this year.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a few things going on.
So that's why I'm saying I'm not going to be overly critical of Texas because everybody has flaws this year.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we're watching a few things here go on at the same time, and all are valid points. We're watching Quinn Ewers develop week to week and, react to the schedule, and he's still that elite passer. I love the dude. He does have swagger and confidence. But he did miss, 3 weeks or whatever it was. And thank God for the bye, which then they have another bye this week, so he can really get to 100% if he's not.
Right.
So we're watching kind of Quinn's kind of ebb and flow, and that's not Arch Manning or not. We're still going to watch Quinn go through the ebbs and flows because every quarterback does in that league, like you mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Shit. Nick Saban had to make a quarterback change in a national championship game.
Natty at halftime.
That's college football. And so we're watching Quinn's ebb and flow. We're watching the Longhorns in the first year in the SEC. And as guys are pointing out in the chat today, it's not, Alabama finally got a nice win after 3 straight weeks of struggling, including a loss. Georgia didn't exactly look like they don't look like world beaters every week. And if you ask me right now, Georgia's, I think, number one in the Taylor Power Index. I'd put Georgia ahead of Oregon. But I think it's close.
Right.
You know, Georgia's quarterback, who's probably a first-round draft pick, he has struggled at times this year, Carson Beck. No one's running away with anything. And shit, Indiana's undefeated.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, no one's balling out right now. We don't have that dominant team. We've got about 8 really solid teams, and the Longhorns are one of them. What we do see, though, week in and week out, is a Texas defense that continues to stand up. That's what's carrying this team. As the offense figures stuff out, the Longhorn defense continues to kick ass.
Yeah, I love what the defense is doing. And the thing about the defense is they get to the point in every game, even the Georgia game, where it's like, we're back out here. We're back out here. We get a huge stop. Now we're back out here. It's just I think they run up against the gas tank running low on E, because it's like, damn, we're doing our part. The offense, y'all got to sustain some drives. Now, I know Sark's offense is bang, 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 and sometimes they score quick. But also, when they don't score quick and it's bang, 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 it's 3 and out, and the defense is back out there after coming up with a huge stop. So, yeah, I still think the defense is the best part of this team. Now, their next matchup, you know, I was talking about my brother-in-law. He graduated from Florida. They play Florida on the 9th. Mm-hmm. Now, Florida has 3 losses, but it's to Tennessee, Miami, and the Aggies.
Yep.
So, I know Florida's coming into Austin, but that's not going to be a pushover game. No. And again, it's life in the SEC. I'm not saying that I think UT wins that game. I'll probably, take the points, but that's going to be a tough game. Now, Florida will be coming off of playing Georgia in the Cocktail Bowl. They got the Cocktail Bowl this coming up week. They play Georgia, but that Florida game in Austin, Florida's going to come in and try to prove a point as well. They have 3 really good. The U kind of blew them out, but that Tennessee game was an overtime game. Tennessee's a really good football team who's also beat Alabama. So it doesn't get any easier. You got Florida, then you got Arkansas, and then, of course, you got the Aggies.
The Gators have had coaching problems. They haven't been ready to play half the time. And now they got to go to Georgia, like you mentioned. And hopefully Georgia will beat their ass and beat them up, and they'll limp into Austin, and it won't be as big a challenge as it would be per se if they were to play tomorrow. Right. I think obviously, I'm not making any huge opinion here. Texas being off with Florida having to go to freaking Athens benefits Texas. Right. So I fully anticipate with 2 weeks to heal up and get ready, I expect a solid win by Texas back in Austin.
They need an idle week.
Absolutely, they do.
They need an idle week for sure, because there's been 2 physical football games they had to play back to back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now, what do you think about Renfro in here moaning and groaning? They win against a top 25 team and move down in the rankings. Speaking of the Longhorns,
did Vanderbilt drop out of the AP? Hopefully not. Vanderbilt's solid. They're a 25 team. You do. First of all, let's get this clear. And I don't disagree with Bob.
The committee anyway.
I don't disagree with Bob, and I don't know. The AP poll is a bunch of fat ass writers and television broadcasters that get together and put together a poll. The AP hasn't had any impact on college football in forever. It's talking points. It's clickbait, if you will. Speaking of clickbait, we'll preview Cowboys and 49ers today at 5:30. Speaking of clickbait teams, no, the AP's a clickbait deal to get us all to talk about it. Texas did slip today to 6. The U moves into the 5th spot. I think if Texas and Miami played on a neutral field right now, I think the Longhorns might whoop
That's what I was going to ask. Who that's in front of them?
I like the U.
I would take Oregon over UT on a neutral field.
Oregon over UT? Yeah. I think it'd be a hard-fought game, but yeah, Oregon would be favored by field goal.
Beat them in Austin, so let's move on. Penn State neutral field against Texas.
I like Texas's chances.
Really?
Yeah.
Ohio State neutral field.
Ohio
State already has a loss, by the way.
They do, I know, but they've really played well. Although they didn't. I mean, they played well going into this weekend, but they didn't exactly blow out their opponent. I think Texas, Ohio State's a toss-up. I think there's 2 teams I would pick to beat the Longhorns right now, and that's Georgia and Oregon, and by a touchdown or less.
But Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, you like Texas.
I like Texas. I would.
That's fair.
I think Ohio State, Penn State are brawler games that go down to the wire. I think the Longhorns would beat Miami by 7-10. And I love Cam Ward. The shit he did at Incarnate. It's hard to imagine that guy wound up at Incarnate Word.
Dude, yeah. How?
He was out there video gaming folks.
That's why you take those stars and wipe your butt with them.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Because he was a 0-star, no offers from anywhere.
And that's insane. They missed. Now, no, I use the ranking systems are pretty good, but they're going to have f ups, and they missed on camp. And sometimes a 17-year-old kid gets a lot better between 17 and 20. and Cam's been in college football 3 years now. It's his third stop, and it's finally his body is caught up to his talent, or vice versa, and he's just kicking ass. That all being said, though, while I think Cam Ward's great, I think the Longhorns are better than the U, and so I think I'd have Texas at 3 right now. But again, no one cares about the Taylor Power Index. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't give a shit about the AP neither, because it's just a clickbait poll.
And
the committee will matter, and then I guess we got 12 teams in the playoff and all that kind of thing. It's changed college football in a hurry in how you coach your team.
Mm-hmm.
How you evaluate your team week to week during the week, getting ready for games, because you've got playoff in your back pocket. I don't necessarily need Quinn Ewers to be Roger Staubach every week, because we don't have to go undefeated, or we don't have to go 11-1. The Longhorns could lose another game and still make the top 12. There's a scenario where Texas, call me a homer, there's a scenario where the Longhorns could lose 3 games, and you could still make a case that they're one of the 12 best teams in the country.
That's why this thing may end up turning into the SEC tournament. And even though the Big Ten SEC tournament, it'll be the Big Ten and the SEC are going to get the benefit of the doubt with the 2 losses or more. They're going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Big Ten and the SEC. It just is what it is. That's what these 12 teams. I could see a situation where there's 8 from the Big Ten and the SEC.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the other 6 to 8, and the other, rest from, throw-ins.
I agree. I totally agree. But now, having said what I said about Texas losing a second game, maybe even a third, which is you can't lose to Florida, though, if you're going to do that.
No,
because the Aggies have improved. You got A&M at the end of the season.
Your Aggie buddies texting you after last night? Because I thought I thought LSU was going to beat them.
You know what? I haven't heard a word from them until last week. Now all of a sudden,
hey, they look good, man.
I know. Well, he needs to stick with Marcel Reed. Elko.
Well, they're bullies. They had 250 yards rushing last night.
Yeah,
they're bullies in the trenches.
Yeah.
Quarterback play is shaky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they might have thrown for 100 yards, but in the trenches, the Aggies are a problem.
No, I know, and they should be, and they're that you talk about finally living up to your talent. A&M's, after a weird start with Mike Elko, A&M's figured it out. By the way, if you give a shit, they're number 10 in the country on the
weird.
AP.
Their only losses to Notre Dame.
Yeah, who exposed poor Navy yesterday.
We knew Navy wasn't good.
I was a little surprised that Mike went back to Connor Wegman. And Wegman let him down. Connor Wegman is a 6'5", 225-pound cannon arm, 5-star. Talking about the rankings,
pro style
loser. He is not a winner. He does not grab games by the balls.
No, at all.
The way Marcel Reed did, a freshman who played high school ball with Kirk Herbstreit's kids. Herbstreit was raving about Marcel Reed. He's watched him since he was 14 because he played high school ball up in Ohio with Herbie's kids. I don't think Elko has any chance after last night, what he did against LSU. Marcel Reed is the new starting quarterback at A&M.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So A&M, it's possible Wegman still winds up getting drafted in the first or second round. You got a first-round quarterback on your bench now because he ain't taking games over.
No.
He didn't play worth the shit, and they needed a spark. It's one thing to have a bunch of talent, but you got to have some dog in you. I don't think Connor Wegman's got dog. I didn't mean to turn this into the Aggie postgame show.
No, that's fine.
You got to stay with Marcel Reed. All that to bring that back to what I'm saying, you still have to play A&M. You potentially have a conference championship game.
Play Kentucky. I don't know if that matters.
Kentucky's tough. You cannot be losing to Florida, and the Longhorns have got to win that game.
Especially in Austin.
Yeah. Well, the playoff has changed things where you can get a mulligan or two. You can't get. They're not going to give you a mulligan against Florida. They lose to Florida, they got to win out.
They got to win out, right? That's what I was going to say. You lose to Florida, then you're going to have to beat Arkansas, Kentucky, and A&M.
Absolutely, no question. Thank you, Bob, for your input today. Appreciate that very much. Bama avoided goes 3 losses in now. Yeah, Bama probably gets in now. Bama could probably lose again and get in again because they're Bama. Although they haven't looked awesome in a month. Again, like I said, you got a bunch of things going on at once. You got Quinn Ewers, still developing and figuring out who he is.
He made half the fan
now,
base hate Ewers.
Yeah, so that's another thing he's got to deal with, being the quarterback at Texas, and you got Major Applewhite on the bench, to steal an old analogy from back in the day. So you got to fight through that. You got to fight through the SEC schedule. It's a hard knock life, but hey, he's making $1 million+ this year on NIL money. So do your job. Deal with it. I know shit. Deal with it. Oh boy, I didn't mean to mention UTSA earlier. Did y'all see what happened last night up in Tulsa, Oklahoma? My God,
are you serious?
That was not good.
It's been a rough one for our guy Jeff, and I think Jeff's owed a mulligan. He had huge turnover, loses assistant coaches, loses his 30-year-old quarterback in Frank Harris. You know what I mean? Like, that turnover is tough. You lose Trey Moore to UT, Trey Moore's out there for UT looking like a first-round pick. Shout out to Trey Moore. Happy for Trey Moore. Go get your money as much as you can, man.
Yeah, he got a bag.
He's got to do it. But yes, this is definitely a mulligan for Traylor and the runners. He's gonna have to go. He's gonna have to attack the portal the way Deion attacks it. Like, because at this point, what are you gonna do? What can you do other than attack the portal? I know he's not a huge fan of it, especially when you're talking about throwing money around, but that's a bad loss last night for UTSA. Up by that much.
It's not as bad as getting blown out 42-7. But because you showed that you can whoop their ass. It's 35-7 runners at the half. You showed what you can do when you're clicking.
Insane.
And I know, taking out all my biases, and all as much as I like Jeff, and to Jeff's credit, he put that on himself last night. When you blow a 35-7 lead, it's on coach.
Fair.
It's on head coach.
Shout out to Jeff.
Jeff Traylor took the L on that last night, and he's sick. I guarantee it. I guarantee he didn't sleep at all. He's up figuring out what to do, and I can tell Jeff what to do. You need to get more talent somehow, some way. There's a couple of collectives in town. Matter of fact, this may be a good segment for a future show. I know a couple of guys in town that are pretty prominent members of UTSA collectives. I wonder how it's going. Like, I'd like to there's I don't want to throw any names on the air.
No.
I'm gonna reach out to them first. I wonder how it is going.
What do you mean?
You cannot, because there's a direct correlation between kids getting paid and transferring and winning. Colorado's just clinched a bowl. That's team portal up there.
They got more money now, though.
Sure. Well, and Indiana, they brought in guys because they've got a collective.
And their coach is good.
Look, Vanderbilt, prime example. They're bringing in good players because they've got a collective too. I would like to know how it's going. And I'm not trying to compare UTSA to the Power 4 conferences. I'm like, how's UTSA? How's their NIL versus everybody else in their conference?
Versus North Texas, your school.
Right. Yeah. Like UNT's collective, whoever's, I want to know how it's going for the runners. And I've said this before, since we're talking college football, I have offered Love You Hard TV services before. If we could help some of the collectives here in the area, I'm not offering money. I'm offering a collaborative idea. If there's kids on that team that want to get into broadcasting,
come on down.
You pay them, and we'll put them on our show. And there's probably some kids on that UTSA team with some pretty damn good followings on TikTok.
Oh gosh, yes.
There are.
Yeah, for sure.
And whatever we can do.
Socials, yeah.
I'm a man of the people, Rudy. I'm a man of the community. I'm a San Antonian, and I'm here to help. And I love Jeff Traylor, and they got to get that shit turned around. He can't pay his assistants to stay. I know they're probably not paying a whole lot of players over there. I don't think
not what they could be getting.
Probably less than 10.
Yeah, not what they could be getting.
The Ansira's God love them.
So much.
Yeah,
USAA, HEB, whatever.
No, it takes a massive amount.
Yeah, they can only do so much.
Yeah, and they were paying Frank Harris for a while to do stuff, and Frank's gone, of course. And I'll bet you, because I don't have any idea. I'm not talked to Jeff in a few months. I'll bet if I text him today, how's that NIL going? I bet he's like, this bullshit. It sucks. Ain't where it needs
I
to be.
wouldn't even text him today.
I ain't going to. No, I'll text him in January.
Yeah.
He'll delete my number if I text him today. All right, man. What's coming up with you in 5:30? We're in the middle of the late NFL games. I guess we'll preview those. We'll preview the San Francisco 49ers is what we'll do today at 5:30.
Not the
49ers pregame show.
We got Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels.
Oh, yeah. That's going on right now. Yeah. We'll talk about that big-ass upset. Imagine what happens when you decide. Well, you know what? They didn't decide. And I'm going to slam Cleveland at 5:30 today.
Okay.
Yeah, there's my tease. This is why you're the Cleveland Browns. No balls. No balls. What would their record be had they benched that asshole after the Cowboy game? Be better than it is now. Ain't nobody trying to put Jameis Winston in the Hall of Fame, but he's better than the asshole that blew his Achilles out last week, and he's a leader.
The leader.
Fucking leader. I love that dude. I'd love him to be my backup any day. All right, honestly, I'm going to give it all away. All right, that's at 5:30. All right, in 1 hour, we're going to have in the building Sunday afternoon style.
Let's drive across town, Mike, and do another show.
Sorry about the Jerry Jones treatment on the. I'll get a better. I'll close the curtain next week.
It was fine. It was just the camera.
Yeah, it was the camera. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for fixing that. That's it. We're done. Longhorns win 27-24. Week off next week, and
oh shit, that's right.
It's possible you and I do this show from Austin
for the Florida game. The 9th.
I'll let you know so that we can clear your schedule. It's my goal to get us up there. We need to get up to a game.
It's
man.
Clear.
All right. And our backdrop will look a lot better than my laptop. All right, that's it. We're done. Go Horns. Horns win. Thank you to Orlando Kill Law. You can email Orlando at orlandokilllaw@gmail.com. You can shoot him a call tomorrow morning at 210-775-4995. Love y'all hard. Muchas gracias to everybody who was a part of this one. Horns win. Life in the SEC. Hey, it's kind of like the NFL. You don't apologize for winning conference games in that league.
Good win.
Don't matter how it goes. That was a good win. We'll see y'all here in about an hour on In the Building on Love You Heart TV. Later. Ian.